Avian influenza continues to be an issue in Oklahoma and other parts of the country. Joining us now for the very latest is our OSU Extension veterinarian, Dr. Barry Whitworth. And Barry, we visited with Dr. Biggs a few weeks ago, but since then we've had some new occurrences in Oklahoma. Get us up to speed.
Well, currently in the month of December, we had 4 commercial flocks that were infected with the virus. 2 of them were turkey operations and 2 of them were broiler operations.
And kind of give us the scenario of what has to happen when there's a positive case detected.
Well, when there's a positive case, they obviously will depopulate. Since we look at avian influenza as a foreign animal disease, those facilities have to be depopulated and they're rested for a certain period of time until the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture decides that it's all right to put birds back in those facilities again.
And kind of what happens, tell us kind of where the spots are in Oklahoma and kind of what happens in terms of monitoring other flocks, commercial and backyard flocks in those areas.
So far all those 4 commercial flocks have been in Adair County. So they have a certain radius around those facilities that they have to test the birds that are any birds that are in that area. When I say birds, I'm talking about poultry. To make sure that the virus hasn't spread anywhere there. The other thing that Oklahoma is doing, according to Dr. Rod Hall, our state veterinarian, is they have been testing the milk and dairies that are close to those commercial facilities as well. Have not had any positive cases with that as of now.
In terms of limiting further spread of the virus, what is the responsibility of someone who has a backyard flock? It's my understanding commercial operations have kind of regular screening and testing to maybe find it earlier. For the homeowner who has a backyard flock, what are you telling them?
Well, the most important thing is biosecurity. Make sure that you follow that. And one of the components of biosecurity is preventing contact with wild birds. So owners should be doing anything they can do to prevent contact with wild birds. Another component of biosecurity is knowing what the clinical signs of the disease are. And so owners should familiarize themselves with those signs. One of the things that you'll see is either unusually large numbers of dead birds or sick birds. And if you see that, you need to get in contact either with your veterinarian or your county extension ag educator, or contact the state veterinarian's office and let them know about that so that they can at least investigate that and make sure that it is an avian influenza.
So some people may be hesitant to do that, fearing they may get in trouble for some reason, right? What do you tell them?
You're not going to get in trouble. There's nothing there as far as getting in trouble. But I do think it's our responsibility to protect the poultry industry. So we don't want to do anything in the state of Oklahoma that might jeopardize that. So if you have birds that you're worried about, don't hesitate to call. You're not going to get in trouble over that, but we do need to protect the industry.
When we're talking about people getting this virus, what is the actual scenario? Because it can be scary.
There are 66 cases that the CDC has confirmed. The origin has been associated with dairy cattle or poultry. The clinical signs that these people have gotten have been mild. Most of them have had a conjunctivitis, pink eye, what we would normally call that, and some mild respiratory symptoms. Now, these people are watched closely, and so they are put on antivirals pretty quickly. So that may be why their symptoms have been mild as we go. The people that have to be very careful, old people, those who have immunocompromised people, very young people, people who are pregnant, those immune systems can be compromised, and so those are the people you have to be very careful when you're around these poultry or these animals. You need to be careful. Protect yourself. Wash your hands before and after you have contact with the animals. If you're dealing with sick animals, you might want to wear gloves. I might even want to put on some type of mask to protect myself if I was dealing with sick chickens. So take care of yourself. Just use proper hygiene, and I think you'll be fine.
How do migratory waterfowl actually shed the virus to these backyard flocks?
The viruses can be shed in any type of fluid that comes from the bird. So ocular, nasal, anything from the mouth, and fecal material. Most likely it's fecal material that's contaminating the environment where your chickens are, and that's probably how they are getting it.
And that's kind of overview of the biosecurity, but you and the team have an OSU Extension fact sheet too that people can read in more detail, or we want them to share it broadly as well.
Yes, yeah. OSU does have a fact sheet for small flock biosecurity, and it really pertains to avian influenza, how to protect that flock from the avian influenza.
Okay, Barry, thanks for the great information. We hope lots of people see and hear this and apply some of this biosecurity. And for a link to the fact sheet that Barry mentioned, we have it for you at sunup.okstate.edu.